the higher you go in your organization, when your perspective just changes, like you're just at a different altitude of what you see, feel, and experience. We can have really good ideas sitting in the strategy space when that might not make any sense at the front line or the people doing the work. Because I think work culture sort of still supports loud results, loudness. And so I think that that's something I've always struggled with and still try to find balance in.
What I've seen from a lot of practitioners through the years is the humility and innovation, where those two kind of come together, where they're doing really, really cool, innovative things, projects, programs, etc. But they're not beating their chest, they're not yelling their names. If someone came to a case study, like a group that we'd have, and they say they have the answer, I'd automatically distrust them because there is no such thing. Hey, this is William Tincup and Ryan Leary. You're listening and watching the Practitioner's Corner podcast. Today we have Carlee Wolfe on from Hyatt, and during pre-show we've made fun of each other, so we've already got some level of a relationship and repartee. So, Carlee, first of all, Ryan, if I don't ask him how he's doing, he gets offended.
Carlee,
Ryan, how you doing?
You see how he does this, Carlee? The first time he forgets me.
Yes.
The second time he just doesn't introduce me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just how it is.
So you're doing okay?
I'm doing good, and you'll be happy to know that prior to the getting on here to this call, I ordered a new keyboard.
That's crazy. See, because he was complaining earlier that his keyboard was loud.
It's loud. It's
Stop being an ape. And he was like, no, it's not. It's not me hitting the keys.
It's one of these loud clickers. So I got a quiet one.
Oh.
No, I'm happy.
Did you add quiet into the search? Quiet keyboard?
I did. Yeah. And then I went through the reviews, and people were typing on video. I'm like, but you're not like banging the keys. Like, bang the keys. I want to hear it. Let's see.
So your video to add will be aggressive typer, quiet keyboard, unlock.
Aggressive
typer.
That's what I told him when he first complained to me about it. I said, "Well, stop hitting the keys hard, you ape."
Yeah,
like,
I'm not. I don't really hit it.
I'm not hitting them that hard. I'm like,
it's a whole persona though. I've worked with some strong keyboard people, like where you're sitting in like a conference or someone's in the back room just like dee 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 dee, and you're like, right now.
It's when they don't realize it.
Yeah.
Yeah. My wife knows. She can type 100 plus words a minute, and but she is jamming.
Well, get her a quiet keyboard.
Clicking, and so it's just one of those bits.
This is like a loud chewer.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to know. Someone's got to tell you. I think.
I mean, I actually have a question. Like, there's a point of view of that, or like, Ryan, is it actually an art form? Like, should you go quiet? Like, is your keyboarding part of you and what you're offering to the world? Like, have you thought?
I don't hate it.
Like, how will you start podcasts in the future now that you have a quiet keyboard? Like,
I know. Well, and I'm not going to hear William say, "Will you stop typing and pay attention to me?"
Yeah. It's true.
Your relationship's changing. I hope you're both prepared. Like, you didn't even
he's just silently going, "Yeah, no, you're right about that. That's fascinating."
Yeah, you're not paying attention, are you? Yes, I am. No, you're not. Anyhow,
I freaked my youngest son out last night because I sat down with him, I was talking to him. His computer's, like most people, his computer's faced towards him. And I'm sitting there, and I could see that he was drifting. And I said, you realize I can look in your eyes and see the reflection of your eyes and see what you're looking at? So you might want to shut that. And so I do this stuff with my kids all the time. So he's like, so you can actually see what I'm looking at? I'm like, absolutely. It's like a CIA hack. It's just, it's no big deal. Just
especially when you're wearing glasses.
Stop looking at that.
Oh, yeah.
So he shut like different tabs. I had no idea what he was looking at. It was just a bit. I used to do that with their phones all the time. Not all the time, but periodically I'm like, all right, give me your phone. I want to go through your phone. And then I'd never go through it. I'd just go back to the office and then do some other stuff, watch some YouTube. And then I'd come back and go, okay, we need to talk, but let's do it later. And then I'd never talk back to him. So
these are strong dad moves. These are just like, this is like parenting life for sure personified in like in a moment.
We
Yeah.
might need to do it with employees. This might be one of these tricks we need
I
to do.
don't, I
Not a
don't
bad
know.
idea.
Sandy, could you come? Yeah,
Carly,
give me
let
a
me see your phone.
Carly,
Come on,
let
Carly,
me.
give me your phone.
IT
No,
called, and I need to talk to you about something. Yeah.
no.
Yeah. Oh,
All
This
right,
is
Carly.
no, thank you.
we're ready to turn the gauntlet onto you now.
You don't want to know on what's on some people's phones for sure. Like that's a real bit. Like, nah, I'd rather not know those things, whatever that is.
Or is that part of it? Like, give me your phone, and then you get the phone, you're like,
Mm,
nah. I'm.
no, this is a bad idea.
Shouldn't have
I'm
looked.
This looks. This is. Yeah, it's
we
a
both
sex.
we both know. We both
It's
know.
it's a sex offender database. So you put in your zip code one time, you look at it, you see all the flags, and you're like, I'm never going to look at this again in my life.
Yeah.
I'll never come back. I'm glad I did it once. I'm terrified, but I will never look at this thing again. But
Did a red flag come up at your house?
no, thankfully,
Well, then we're
accused but
good.
never convicted.
There you go.
So I'm good there. But like a neighbor did,
Mhm.
like three houses
Yeah.
down.
We
But it
got a
was,
bunch, yeah.
yeah, it's one of those deals. You know, he was 18, she was 16. Like okay, it still is what it is. However, it's not the worst thing that you could hear about in your life. And so, anywho,
Uh,
Yeah, this
Carly,
is where we
well,
switched
Yeah,
to
I'm so glad
Carly.
this is a part of today's conversation. Like, it's just like enlightening, like a real
let's talk
gem.
about
Someone
consent.
logged in, they're like, all right, what are we
What
gonna
is
learn today?
what is consent? Let's talk about that. Ready?
Oh
How do you define
God.
consent in the future? I think people are going to have docu-signs like at a
Just pull the
young
phone out.
age.
Find this,
Yeah,
please.
yeah, yeah. Are we agreed on the terms of this particular
Yeah.
situation? Sign here. Great. Sign here. Good. All right. Now we can go.
Such is life.
Yeah, yeah. Ryan's got all girls, so he hates when I talk about this stuff, and I've got two boys. So, which is that's different. Carly, obviously you're at Hyatt. You're a practitioner because it's practitioner corner. So we've already
Yep.
deduced a few things. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So at Hyatt, I run our integrated talent management team. So that includes things like TA, performance management, colleague listening, to name a few things. And we support the global organization for that. So our colleagues all over the world. And I've
Right.
been next month we'll be rounding the corner to 5 years. So that's pretty big. Thank you, thank you. No, and it's been fun. It's been a really fun ride at Hyatt. I started in December of 2020, so for the COVID clock, that was like smack dab in the middle of things,
Hmm.
Yeah.
and have been on a. We've had a lot of acquisitions, a lot of growth, shifting into more brand focus. So it's been a lot of fun, and hospitality's fun. So
Awesome.
that's kind of what I'm up to these days. Also do some work in the community with workforce development here in Baltimore.
Oh, cool.
And we were talking, well, I also am very passionate about AI and the workplace and workforce, since that crosses over both Hyatt and community. So, yeah, that's what's going on in my world these days.
Well, let me tell you a little bit about myself. No, I'm kidding.
Yes, please go
Oh, that's great. And through me too. That's
I've got
awesome.
nothing more to add, so I'm just gonna say that, Carly.
Yeah.
No, so you started in COVID time.
Mm-hmm.
COVID
How
hard.
was that? Like you came into this gig during COVID,
Had to be hard.
and you were shut down.
Yeah, so everything was shut down. I joined Hyatt like I moved to Baltimore, which is everyone was wondering what I was doing. Which is that I do love Baltimore, but everyone asked me if I watched The Wire before I moved out here. It is a great city. I'm here to
Yeah,
stay.
no, that's
That's the
that's a
fun plug.
blip.
Yep,
Yeah.
fun to plug there. But same thing with Hyatt, because at the time hospitality was one of those industries where they were like, will this come back? Because you also looked at things like Airbnb, which were like, growing significantly
Right.
because everyone was traveling, and so friends and family were like, where will Hyatt go? And I think so. There was that part of it, which was a little bit scary, but at the same time, kind of placed a bet both on the organization and myself, in that at the time the organization was highly focused. So just to paint a picture, if hotels were open, there were a handful of people working. I mean, the general manager was like changing sheets, right? So that like that's it. And then the corporate office was down probably like 70%. So when I joined, the reason why my role existed, it was about health and safety in the hotels. Do people have the things, the environment, and the resources to be safe? And within the organization, working on some change management. How do we continue to work through what's happening in COVID, but also a nod to the future of as these things move forward, how do we want to come out and build? And for me, that was exciting. So it was kind of jumping in a global organization, huge global organization, which is and basically brought down to a small, not start like small organization size.
Mm-hmm.
So to be in that moment to help people, but to know at some point we'd be moving forward and rebuilding anew, that was enticing. So yeah, really interesting at times and really interesting coming out of it. I think for me, the big one was also joining the organization when so many people also had left their jobs. Like I was excited about the
Mm-hmm.
possibilities, and I'm telling you that now. But the weird thing at the time was still then the people I was working with lost, friends they had worked with for like 20, 30 years.
Oh yeah.
So it was kind of a, interesting time, but also a reflection of the culture. People do really kind of care about one another. So you just got brought in, but you were a part of it, but there's respect there. So that's kind of the mix of, I'll call it the mix of emotions and the mix of jumping in during that time.
And December, if I remember correctly, was about the moment when people were really tired.
Oh yeah.
Because, March, you've talked to people in February, March, leaders like yourself, at that period, whilst difficult, it was chaotic and kind of exciting in a weird way.
Mm-hmm.
But by the time you get through the summer and, all of that toilet paper stuff, and then you get into the fall, people are really like, okay, okay, that when is this over?
Right.
For sure.
And then it went through a really funny phase kind of after that, where it's like the economy just said, yeah, we're just going to grow, whatever. COVID
Yeah.
is what it is. We're just going to go back to normal. There was like a brief year and a half period where hiring went up and spiked. Like it was like, okay, we're getting back to normal. This is cool.
Yeah.
Let's do this
Hmm.
bit for a while.
Yeah.
I
Let's
was
not.
I was totally fine wearing a mask and staying inside too. I had no problems.
The
Yeah.
only thing I liked about wearing a mask was driving so that I could sing in the mask and no one would know it. So I could
I
just
mean,
flat
like
out be,
people on the outside of the car couldn't see you singing.
yeah, and other cars.
Why
Like
would you care about them seeing you
I,
singing?
I don't, but I could do it freely without recourse. I could just be jamming.
Carly, he used to stick his tongue out at people through in the mask when he was at the stores.
Now I'm in tech, but Carly, I'm in
A
Texas.
custom mask then.
Yeah, a little. That's funny. So I'm in Texas, and rural Texas didn't believe in COVID.
Hmm.
So all of the red part of rural Texas, like you'd go out and like nobody had mask on. You go to a restaurant, no one had mask on.
Yeah.
Like nobody. Like it, yeah, it is what it is. Oh, that's for whatever hoax. We don't believe in that. And it's like, I think it's kind of real.
Yeah.
Probably should wear a mask. Eh.
For
Anyhow, let's
sure.
go. Let's go
Well,
back to, if you don't mind.
yeah. Let's go back. Let's go back.
Let's go
Let's
back
do it.
to Ryan. You want to do high school or college?
I mean, I was going to go back to the sixth grade.
what
I mean,
what was
sixth
the
grade
dream?
dance, school committee. Like, what were you doing? No,
Yeah,
no, no.
yeah.
Yeah. So, like, in high
I
school,
was like,
let's
whoa,
start.
we gotta really pull in some files. I'm like, where do I go for that answer?
I
Like,
mean,
what?
we got her here. We might as well.
100%
Yeah,
ballerina.
high
Done
school's
deal.
interesting to me now because we both have kids in high school.
Hmm.
Mine's struggling trying to figure out what the hell she wants to do. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, we're in the college search now. So, what were you doing coming out of college, coming out of high school? What was a dream?
There had to be in a dream. Come on.
Was there a dream? I think I fell in the camp, like life wise, I was still figuring it out. But I grew up in the Chicago area, and picking a school took me some time. But I ended up going to Arizona State, so big change.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah. I went to
big
U of
change.
A
Oh,
for
oh, we should
graduate.
have
No,
covered
no,
this
no, no,
before.
no, no. We're good. We're good. I went for graduate school. Undergraduate's
Oh, okay.
different.
All right.
Yeah, yeah.
Fair enough. We're okay. Um, So yeah, but like very different, and like all good high school people, I totally knew what was going on. I was like, oh, because I grew up in the Chicago suburbs. I was like, oh, Tempe, which is where ASU is totally like a suburb of Phoenix. It's the same.
Mm, yeah.
So I was I was ready to go. But yeah, so what was I thinking about? I was thinking about school. What did that like entail to be living really far away? That was both exciting and scary.
You like the weather though, yeah,
I mean,
right?
how could you not? I went on my college visit on spring break. It was like beautiful. It was probably snowing in Chicago. Like what, you know?
Your
Hmm.
mom and dad are like, "Hey, will you come home?" He's like, "Nah, summertime.
Yeah,
Yeah,
summer
come
for
on for
sure, for sure.
Chicago summers are gorgeous." No,
Oh, they're the best. Like literally the best.
yeah,
Um,
everybody's out on the lake. It is even for an outsider, it's actually really wonderful because you see all the boats, you see everything happening. People are wearing, spring or summer clothing, and everybody's happy. Like it's like normally you go in the winter, it's like, okay, all right, a little
yeah, if you see
frigid,
people, it's briefly when they like leave one building and head to the other.
100%
Yeah.
running.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually, so I moved around a little bit, and I moved in between Arizona a few times, and the last time I left Arizona, was moving back to Chicago.
Mm,
I was taking a job at a small consulting firm, and I'm like, all right, let's take the job, let's make the move. So I was living in the city, and I'll never
mm.
forget like my first winter back, just looking, I was like sitting at a conference room table, and it was like snowing. It doesn't just snow, yeah, exactly. It's freezing, but also it just doesn't snow. There's just slush. Like you schlep places is the word you would use. And I just remember sitting there one day and I was just looking around. I'm like, you guys, we do not have to live like this. Like there are other options. Like what are we doing? What did I do? Why am I back here?
There are other options. Snow is only good when it first falls.
100%.
After
100%.
that,
That fresh,
forget it.
fluffy, really interesting, but a lot of the above the Mason-Dixon line, especially in the cities, Boston, Chicago, and stuff like that, it stays on the ground for so long, and inside the city, it becomes black. It just piles
You're
up.
talking to two people that live in the city that get snow.
Yeah, I was like, I don't even know if it look honestly in the city if it looks nice really ever because there's already all these people walking, all these cars driving already, the trains ripping through. There's just no, it's just black right
But
away.
there is something to if you're out in the residential areas, if you're out there and it's that first snow, the kids are excited, everybody's excited, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, this is dope. All right, cool. And see, Texas just gets the dusting. Like where I live in Texas, North Texas, we get a dusting.
Mm,
That's it. It freezes maybe twice a year, and we get a dusting of snow, but maybe
yeah.
it lasts a day or two, and the entire city shuts down.
It was
Like,
27 when I woke up this morning to go for my walk, so I
Oh
didn't go
wow.
for my walk.
No thanks.
Carly, I don't think we're ever going to get to you today.
no,
We're
we're
just going to
definitely gonna
call
get to
This
this
is
you.
be the weather is be this is part of like
You're
moving and
triggering. You're
the
building my
triggering.
conversation corner.
You're
yeah. I've
tr-
lived in
you're
the desert. I've lived in Chicago. Like this is what I've been built on.
Isn't the
I don't
desert
know. I
beautiful
thought
though?
I'd like throw that in as part of the
The fir-
story. Like we're on track.
your first spring though in Tempe when all the desert bloomed and all of it,
Oh,
like wasn't that gorgeous?
there. Okay, my favorite. I this is tough because Chicago's also really, like in the summer. I think Arizona in the spring follows pretty quickly on amazing
Yep.
places. So
Yep.
first of all, no place better than for sunsets in Arizona. Just like hands down the desert.
100%.
Just
Don't
paint
even.
the sky.
Yeah. Just
And
give
then
them the award. Here's your trophy.
yeah,
You've got sunsets. Yeah.
it's over. Then yes, you have like the flowers. Sometimes there's some rain, and I don't. There's a scientific word for this, but there's something about when the rain hits the dirt, the land in the desert. There's a smell that comes with that, and I just
Right.
there's a term I can't
Yeah.
think of it right now, but it's amazing. Um, Spring training is also in. I mean, surprise, the spring.
Oh yeah. All
So
the
Beaver
baseball
Chicago
teams.
Cubs are down in Scottsdale or
Oh yeah.
Tempe, and so that's amazing. Beagle Fest in Tempe is also in the spring. Like, there's just all kinds of good stuff happening around that time.
Did you ever
Is
get
that where
over
you got
that?
your beagle?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
my Beagle, Sammy. We went to Beagle Fest. You have to.
There you go.
How can you have a Beagle and not go to Beagle Fest?
Can't do that. Got to do
No,
it. Did you have a dog in college?
I did not. No, just we had like family dogs that were at home, but I did not have my own dog at that time.
Were you in a sorority?
I was in a sorority, yes.
Are you amazed at the sororities at ASU now? Like how different it is?
I mean, I think it's different across the board. I think ASU, for sure ASU,
Eh,
I started there when Greek life was really changing. So when I started,
okay,
for example, the fraternities used to have pools. You
right.
imagine like all the issues that go along with that. So that
Mhm.
changed when I was there.
Wow.
Yeah, that's just like
Well,
one part of Greek life that changed.
U of A, when first year, first semester, a kid I was teaching as well, and so a kid in one of my classes comes up to me and says, "Hey man, I gotta tell you about this bit." Is I think it was
I
Theta
did.
Chi, and I said, "Oh, do tell." And he goes, my chapter just got we just got arrested, and we're gonna get kicked off campus." I said, "Okay, well, hardships, got it, whatever." And he goes, he goes, "I don't think you understand the." Okay, well, what are you doing? We were running an escort firm out of the fraternity house. I'm like, "Oh, so you were busted for prostitution?" "Oh, all right. Well, that's a bit different." So, and again, kind of the wildness of all that, but like USC and ASU, there's a couple of Alabama, my alma mater, for undergrad. Man, the sorority videos that they put together, these are like Hollywood videos that are
Yeah.
choreographed with music and all that kind of stuff. Like that wasn't there. I mean, there was other stuff, but that wasn't there. But so, what was your major at ASU?
Yeah, I was say it's always been a serious game, and in the South, you said
Hmm.
Alabama.
Yeah, roll
I mean
tide.
like that's like I think that's peak
Oh
for
yeah.
sure.
No,
Always
it's
been. But what did I study? I ended up finishing with a degree in interdisciplinary studies,
you
which
caught the
basically
word
means you
finishing.
get two
Did you
topics.
catch that? Yeah,
And
finishing.
yeah, that's I had to get done with school degree. So I had a blend of political science and mass communications. So, which
What
there's things there
what part
that
of
are
poli sci did you like? Did you focus on international or comparative
I
or
yeah, I did.
yeah.
And coming out of that, I had an international certificate, very important.
Yeah.
Use it
Hey,
today. No, just kidding.
is it
Um,
on the wall? Do you have it
yeah,
framed?
I
Yeah, good.
haven't. It's been a long time since that's come up. Like right now is like a life moment that I get to bring that back. But no,
Let me
I
show
did.
let me show you my certificate.
My kids are not
Yeah,
interested in
I can
anything.
pull it. Not the certificate, the degree.
Mine are over
There you
there.
go. There you go.
Mine are on the wall. Actually,
Mine are in a box under the bed.
I didn't
Mm.
frame my degrees for 30 years.
Mm.
Well,
I,
what
I
inspired then all of us? You're just like now's the time.
It was COVID. I was
Oh,
bored.
okay. Got it.
You needed validation.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not graceful, Carly. You probably already picked this up during our talk. I hate validation. I despise validation. Like people that try to validate me, it's like I can't take a compliment, which is
I
Yeah.
I'm
love
not
you, man. You're
proud of that.
amazing. You're just
Shit.
an amazing
Ryan
conversation.
knows how to rile me up because he'll just say, "Man, that's cool. That's awesome. You're awesome." It's like,
Carly, how did you get? Where did you go from here?
yeah,
Get us
get
out of
us into
Chicago.
HR.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
No, good.
finish.
I was gonna say, I was like, I see William on this. I have also
You left
struggled
us in the
with it,
conference room in
but
Chicago.
yeah. So out of school, here's what I will say though about ASU, which I always goes into my like professional story. I did work at the student union, and it was in we were like in the event space, so I was like rolling rounds and like stacking chairs, right? We were
Oh,
shifting out
cool.
like rooms, and it was a high turnover role, that department, because as you can imagine, physical labor is a lot, and plus just college,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But me and the friend that I worked with at the time were kind of like, how can we make this better? And so what ended up being what I call full HR, we implemented. We got sort of like career paths and quote, right? So people could get raises and promotions. We put in a like leadership development program. We changed the office environment, literally like what it looked and felt
Oh, that's
like.
cool.
And it was a ton of fun, and I loved that work because we saw the results. I didn't have like data at the time, things I'd talk about now, but what I'll tell you
Right.
is we had people that stayed longer. People were referring people to join. We didn't have like these big hiring pushes. We didn't have like gaps in the schedule. I was like, this is so cool. Like, how do I do whatever this is? And specifically, the leadership development program, we got certified in some team building exercises, and I loved that. So out of that, that kind of started this whole. I didn't know what it was called at the time. I just knew what I liked,
Right.
and that started the journey of, hey, I like helping people. I like this thing. We did this thing with the team that led into networking. Then eventually, spoke with someone who was like, oh, that's
Yeah.
leadership development. I'm like, okay, that's where we're at. So
Sounds good to me.
Go.
yeah, so
Can I
that's it.
make a career out of it? Can I make
Yeah,
money?
yeah,
Yes.
And yes, yeah, where can I go do that job? Like that's where I'm at. So that's what started. So maybe, degree aside, right? This is, I think, part of that, that period of life of figuring it out. And then
Yep.
I was lucky enough where I was able to experience something I enjoyed, and lucky enough to fall into and connect with people that could also be like, hey, it is this leadership development thing, and that's what started the career. So I've been in the game ever since. Just kind of
What's the first job?
working at USA Volleyball,
Okay.
uh, doing coaching education.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Oh
So I
my
had
God.
to. The
Huh?
other thing that ASU gave me is I had to do an internship to graduate. ASU gave me a ton. Sorry, I'm like downplaying the whole experience. I'm more
Yeah, yeah.
laugh, going back to our like sort of laughs about the degree, but part of that I had to do an internship to graduate. And back in the at this time, I'm. Do you ever just like you're like, yeah, I know I'm at this age when I say this, which is that I was looking in a book for good internships. Princeton
Yep.
Review,
Flipping,
like top
flipping, yeah.
Princeton
internships.
Review.
Yeah.
Princeton Review.
We've all used
So
it.
yep.
Yeah.
So I love
Yeah.
sport, and the United States Olympic, at the time it was Olympic Committee, now it's Olympic and Paralympic Committee. They had an internship. You get to live on campus, and you get assigned to a sport or within the
Oh my
USOCC
gosh.
itself.
Where
And
were they headquartered at the time?
Colorado Springs, and they're still there. So yeah, so I got an internship. It started as an internship, but then moved into a job, but that's what brought me out there with that opportunity. So it was cool.
That's a beautiful town.
Oh,
That's
beautiful!
that's
Yeah, beautiful town. They're right on the mountains. When
yeah.
people talk about, Denver's a great city too. But it's like further removed from the mountains. Colorado Springs was like right nestled in there. You can drive
Right.
20 minutes and you're walking up the literally Pikes Peak, which is one of the
Yeah,
most
yeah.
famous mountains in the United States.
You
So
actually do you get four seasons, like four full
yeah,
different seasons there, right?
you do.
I've
A lot
only
of
I've only
sunshine though, a lot of sunshine.
okay.
So even
So
when it
that's
snows, the sun comes out, which is a game changer. Back to our whole weather thread here.
hmm
Snow and clouds is sad. Snow and sun is good.
different story.
Yeah.
Different snow and sun. For me, I think that's one of the things about Tucson that I loved is there was no doubt I would see the sun the next day
Yep. Always.
because it's like we got 9 inches of rain a year and it all happened in August. They called it the his it's a torrential downpour, and because it's not built with sewage or drainage, it all goes into roritos,
Yep.
and so there's kids that die every year.
Yeah.
In August, you can just count on it because they're playing, and all of a sudden the water just rushes in,
Mm.
takes them away. So sad story, but the idea of seeing the sun hasn't stopped for me.
Oh yeah.
So I like seeing the sun and clouds. Like I lived in Cleveland after Tucson. That talk about stark
Oh yeah.
differences between like okay, and when you get in Cleveland, Cleveland's an interesting city because once you get past that initial lower cloud level, the sun's there. Like
I'm
when
learning a lot
what
on this.
once the
That's
plane
so much.
just breaks the cloud layer because it's a low cloud layer because of the lake. Once you get past that, it's like, dude, seriously, like where's this all the time? I want to see that.
I hope
Anyhow,
I hope people listen to this and they're like, where does
Yeah.
Carlee work? Like she's like
Yeah.
working to the weather.
Yeah.
Like
You
say
work at you work at like Channel 6 or something? Like
oh
yeah.
yeah, Weather
so
Channel,
far
baby.
so far I've learned about sororities, I've learned about
Oh,
colleges, I've learned about snow, I know about snow. I learned about weather and
dude,
sunset,
Ryan,
Cloud.
clouds.
sororities at those three schools, it is a different game. Like it is like first of all,
Mhm.
you're dealing with probably another 60 to $100,000 of sorority stuff.
Mhm.
Like
Uh,
it's way intense. It's
Well,
not like
good.
anything that we would have dealt with
Good
I'll
for
say to
them.
be clear to the
because you were in a
listeners, that was
fraternity.
not the investment of my time.
Yeah, yeah. No, no,
I went to
no.
school to learn, and this
Ryan
is
was in a
how I ended up.
fraternity,
I
so
mean,
Yeah.
he
better
knows.
balanced, but I'm just saying that was not
No, no.
those were not the checks that
Yeah.
we were writing.
This
And
is
actually,
why
they were checks at the time.
she went to Arizona,
Yeah,
Poli
Arizona State.
Sci,
Careful, careful.
Arizona State. Yeah, I got to get her
Fell in love with leadership development.
Yeah,
leadership development, and now she's a weather girl at Channel 6.
Did you say
yeah.
weather girl?
I was like,
Yeah.
lady, I don't know how to say it. I was saying weather lady. I don't. That sounds
A lot of
weird.
things we're working on this call. There's a lot of things.
We need to work out that. Is it weather man
Well, I was
or
gonna say
weather
weather
person?
Person.
man,
Weather person. What
but
do we
weather
do?
I think it's weather
person.
person. That's
Yeah,
the
I
Weather
know.
chairperson.
professional.
Yeah,
Weather professional.
yeah. Well, if the
That's
editors
pretty.
catch it, cut it out.
Great.
Otherwise, I get
Do it.
canceled. Yeah.
So after USA volleyball and the IOC ish, what'd you do?
Well, sort of IOC is, which is I went to the United States Olympic and Paralympic Committee, which those two entities are actually separate. The sports themselves sit in their own, and I went to the USOPC to start my official journey in leadership development. So building leader programs for folks that work there. We also got to work with companies that came in to bring, if you think of an executive offsite where you
Mm.
go to fill in the blank program, we hosted those. And I've been fortunate. I've made a lot of good stops in my career. Like I'm at a great one right now with Hyatt. That one I think has to go. I don't know how this would break. Probably one of the most fun jobs I had. I mean, we worked with athletes and coaches, Olympic and Paralympic athletes and coaches. We built a program around bobsled. It was called Driving Results. Like how do you create your strategy and ensure that it's
Mhm.
pinpointed and support. And we went to Lake Placid to ride the bobsled and skeleton down with Olympians. Like I just,
Yeah.
you
What
can't beat
what
that.
I
I
what I
already
love
beat that.
about that leadership development and in dealing with athletes is they already get performance. Like they understand the
Oh, they're the best
concept.
at it, especially at that level. Literally the best in the world. It's my favorite thing.
Wow. Okay, so after that, what'd you do? Where'd you go? What was
Moved
your
back
next
to
step?
Phoenix. Moved back to Phoenix or Tempe, and worked at Apollo Education Group, which doesn't exist anymore.
Okay.
It was a holding
Mhm.
company for a bunch of education institutions and
Mhm.
supporting mechanisms. However, University of Phoenix was the largest organization under that umbrella at the time, so
Okay.
UOPX still exists. And at the time, try to like, there's a ton going on in for-profit education. So University
Right.
of Phoenix actually was kind of front out there around online education and accessibility, which is incredible. That model still exists today, and I think we're in the middle of another big sort of like workforce shift. What sort of comes in to support that? At the time, way back, that University of Phoenix was that player.
Right.
And so that was super fun. So nonprofit was under a lot of scrutiny around
Yep.
essentially like loans, and so they were making a big pivot. And of my stops, I think I cut most of my HR chops in that space because I was literally running around, like running in the building because we were trying to shift a number of things under this new regulation, which really had to do with a lot of HR things. How do you pay people?
Mhm.
How do you incentivize them? How are you hiring them? And for us,
Right.
we wanted to do it the right way, which is how do you build the culture and enable leaders to also facilitate and support that culture. And so that's why we were running around trying to
Yeah.
rebuild
Oh yeah.
an amazing place to work in the matter of months, and so it was really fun.
Well, the hard part of that is the change for a lot of the people.
Oh, for sure.
So, like getting them to think differently about how we hire, as an example, versus how we used to hire, and getting them into that future state of, okay, this is this is what we need to do. And what I've faced is people changing that process, changing them in that process is harder than like the technology or any of this other stuff. It's just getting them to get over. It's not your Sally. It's not your onboarding process.
Yep.
It's an onboarding process that needs to be better. Jim, it's
Hmm.
not your hiring like it's
Mhm.
decoupling the personal from what the process needs to be and then reinventing the process to be more efficient and
Yep.
letting people you were early on and get getting comfortable being uncomfortable
Hmm.
and helping people through that phase, which is no one likes change, so none of that was easy.
No, no, because it is hard. I think one thing that I learned there that I still appreciate today in any change is purposeful change. What's the vision and what purpose of what we're doing? And I think we were all fortunate enough. We worked in education. People were very passionate about educating people and
Right.
opening doors to careers. But when you talk, the best way I can just like slim it all down to what we were doing before it was about how do we get people into school, like right
Mhm.
into the programs, and the shift then became how do we keep them in the programs. And that sounds, you're like, well, of course, but when you're trying to
Not
move the
easy.
workforce forward, you're like, yeah, get people to school. It helps them like learn and but to move to the retention, that's a totally different mindset strategy, all of the parts and pieces. And so what I learned there though is it still was about the student. And so when you talk about, I forgot the names you just used, like, but Josie and John, the two that are like struggling
Yeah,
with
yeah,
change,
Sally and
it's
Jim.
still how you hit their heart where it matters because that's why they're there. They did care about education. And so I still use this today in all changes. Like, why does it matter? Like, really, why does it matter?
right.
And the matter can show up in a lot of different ways. That's sort of purpose driven. For some people, it might be more of an output, right? But what is the thing? Because change is hard. I mean, we all have those. Think about like life changes. The biggest ones are like health. Like,
Mhm.
you're like, why?
Hmm.
Until you get that like threatening moment or scary
Oh yeah.
moment, right? You don't have that. Or as much reason to. So, yeah, change
Yeah,
is
So
tough.
I've got two questions, but Ryan, you go
Yeah.
yeah.
first.
One of the so I can't remember if it was Apollo or if, I think it was University of Phoenix when I was this is a while back, but they were one of our clients and we were there. We were doing their staffing, and they brought us up into a floor, but it was like a secret access floor. And in the center of the floor, it was all blacked out glass and windows, and they were
Mm.
in there. I don't know what it was, but they was pretty. I remember that
Huh.
vividly. And it was they're like we come up, we walk in, we do a little tour, and they showed us like this is whatever room. It was kind of a weird play. But the question I had for you was up until this point because we haven't gotten the Hyatt yet.
Yeah.
Were you hit with anything big? Like what was the big challenge you got up until this point that started to maybe shape where you ended up now?
That's a very good question.
She had no problems.
She
No, no,
had
no, no. I
zero
mean, I think.
problems. Dude, she's been skating since high school.
She's like, I
Just
got
No,
this.
no, no. I think that, I really am passionate about what I do, and that
right.
just like sits in the work. And so I'm not a big, I did these things
Yeah,
or
yeah, yeah,
thing.
yeah.
And
Mhm.
so I think both early in my career and even still now, it's, I think, navigating both influencing, but also being at the table in like a profound way, because I think work culture sort of still supports loud results, loudness. And so I think that that's something I've always struggled with and still try to find balance
Mhm.
in. And
Right.
so I think early on those struggles became back to like running around. I was always the person running around doing the things, but was I the person that was like, oh, like Carlee really nailed this, and does that actually help get her into other rooms or move her forward in a career in all of the ways? And so I think my struggle, like realizing that I just, it's just hard work, and you're always like
Mhm.
in
Yeah.
that mode of I want to do more, can do more, but how do I like bridge the contributing but being seen part of
Right.
it?
Right.
And
Right.
that's in work for me. That's been in some ways like a little bit of a life theme too, but I think that that was a
It's
big
it's
part of it.
doing the what I've seen from a lot of practitioners through the years is the humility and innovation, where those two kind of come together, where they're doing really, really cool, innovative things, projects, programs, etc. But they're not beating their chests, they're not yelling their names, they're not saying that stuff. People see it, but it's that teeter totter of how do I talk about something that's innovative while not talking about myself and making it about me.
Yeah.
And I don't think that I talked to a friend of mine today that's on the employer branding side of things. He's he's still struggling with the same thing. He's like he's nice, he's approachable, he's smart, does innovative stuff. Like it's all the things that you would like, but he's so humble he never talks about himself.
Yeah.
And he's our age and he's just like I've struggled with this. I struggle with
Mhm.
how do I within the organization, outside the organization, how do I actually talk about the some of the innovative things that my team or I am doing? And it's just like, dude, you got to get over it. Like,
Yeah.
okay, you either have to get peace with it and go, you know what, I'm never going to be known in the way that I would like to be known. Okay, that's that. Or I need to start talking about myself.
Yeah.
And I think that is really difficult for HR professionals.
For sure.
I think it's just it's just not a concept that they're used to. Sales, different game. They'll talk about themselves all day, but not HR.
Yeah.
Recruiters maybe. You might have recruiters that will tell you, their numbers and tell you how proud they are to do this, that, the other. But HR, proper and talent management, I haven't. I see that struggle. I see
Yeah.
that, and that's not just this year. That's historic.
For
Um,
sure. Well, in some
okay,
ways, it feels like in service too, right? You're like
right.
helping people, and so there's maybe a natural of behind the scenes
That's a
like
good point.
lifting and supporting. But I do think it's an important skill. In fact, actually, the three of us were chatting earlier about this, which is like for me, over the past year, I've been working on my voice, like externally, like
Right.
what does that
Mhm.
sound and look like? And I'll tell you, there's a tactical part of that, which we were kind of more in that space, but for me, it's also been a self discovery journey
Hmm.
because what do I have to say? Why is that important? Who do I want to be? Which, by the way, is myself. How do you do that? And
Right.
why is there a struggle in which to come to that space? And how do you also sell yourself on why you should have a voice on a podcast or a stage? And so it's been rewarding and being in the conversation. But for me, like the behind the scenes part's been this like personal journey of discovery,
Mhm.
finding confidence, building the space that I built or building into the space that I never really maybe invited myself into or gave
Do
myself
you,
permission to be in.
just tangentially, do you think it's easier for men in this space to do that?
Uh,
I know that's a loaded,
I
but
mean, yeah, it's like a little bit. Here, I'll tell you this. I went to this conference a few weeks ago, and there was someone speaking, and it was like a game, just kind of like a game that they were
yeah,
warming up the crowd. They're like, hold up your hand, five fingers, and they
yeah.
were just kind of different dynamics. And I'll just cut to the chase of it, which was like one of them was like, lower your finger if you've ever had to change how you show up in the room based on who's in the room. Okay, my finger went down.
Yeah.
How many times have you like debriefed or thought like, oh, I didn't really land that meeting well, like, and how you showed up with others, and like my finger went down. And I look around, and every like I don't want to like overstate it. Let's just say most females had their two like the fingers down for those things. I'd say most of the men were like, what are you
Yeah,
talking
right.
about?
Yeah.
So
Why?
I you know
Dude, boys pop out of the womb with some level of arrogance and confidence about them that is just, they don't even know what they're doing, but they think they do. And
yeah.
it's crazy to me, but I can see that. And I've seen it in the industry actually. Because so what, as you were talking, I'm like, I've never thought about that. Like, I've never considered a meeting and whether or not it went well or not.
Mm,
Like, I just do the meeting, and then after the meeting, I go on to the next thing. Eh, I don't, there's not a reflective part
yeah.
where I look backwards. But okay, so I do have two questions. I do want to get to them, and I know Ryan's got some as well. I'm going to ask you a tough question. At Hyatt, because you're on the talent management side, not core HR side of things, which means that you've got a lot of different things, kind of pulling at you a little bit. What's your favorite?
Mm.
You can't say all of them, and I know it's natural. Onboarding and recruiting and learning.
Yeah.
I can't do that. You got to pick one. What's your favorite?
Uh, like I'll go with I mean it is tough because I do love a lot of what we are able to do, but
Yeah,
we just added talent acquisition to our team, so it's not like hotel recruiting. Think of it as like systems, processes,
right,
partnerships, things of
right.
that nature. And I've done work in that space in different capacities, but to kind of have that look over it, and we're about to head into a big transformation around shifting our HCM and TA, by the way, is changing a ton right now. So to be in that space during a huge transformation and for us really be able to build from the ground up is really exciting. So I think that maybe put just like just an edge over the others in
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
in this
No, all the
reinvention.
other. I love all the other children.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
So
yeah.
that was the question of your house is on fire.
You could
Which
save
kid
one
are you
child.
saving first?
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. That's
I don't
dark.
Oh
know.
boy.
So
Mhm.
the thing with you changing your HCM, you can tell us or not, but I'm assuming you're going from a Oracle, SAP, or a Workday change from one of those, not an ATS change.
Correct, correct. And we're actually in our background moving from multiple. HCMs over the years into one big one. So it's a big. This is a shift many companies have made over the years. We're making the big step now, and so be a big project for us coming up. I mean, not even project transformation.
One of the fascinating parts of those three in particular that we've seen over the last couple of years is people do the workflow in some other tech. So
Mm,
like a CRM or a ATS or whatever, and then pump the data back down into the system of record.
mm,
Instead of using the product that they have,
yep,
Oracle has a recruiting product, SuccessFactors has a recruiting
yep,
product, Workday has a recruiting product, but more often than not, the workflow is actually not in those products.
yeah,
The data is, but not the workflow.
yeah,
So something to ponder as you go through that transformation.
for sure. I think we're maybe then falling into more of a. I think all as much in as we can.
Right, right, of course.
Obviously, there's needs that sometimes right you shift, but I think we're trying to make it easy on everyone.
Well, you're
Easy.
speaking Ryan and I's language because of recruiting. We love recruiting.
Oh yeah.
Uh, so Ryan, what else
Yeah.
you got? What's
One
interesting?
final question for me. I know we're at time,
Yeah.
but Carlee, I like to always ask this at the end. Well, sometimes I like to ask it, but what would your and I want to reverse it. Normally, people will ask, what would your older self tell your younger self? I want to reverse that. What would your younger self
Hmm.
tell your older self?
Now knowing what you know.
I stumped her.
Yeah.
No, dude, seriously, you're
My
killing
younger
her.
self tell my older self. I think like two things. One is continue to enjoy work, and both of these things I do try to keep in mind. But I think keep enjoying work because
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know, we can make it real serious real fast, and in the industries I've been in, there's an importance, but we're not saving lives. Like when I worked at Under Armour, we'd be like, we're making sure at the end of the day we're making sure that the shoes are not saving lives, but
Right.
there's a passion behind that.
Hmm.
Um, but so I think to still have fun, right?
Yeah.
I think the other part
Hmm.
is to not lose sight, and I've been thinking about this more lately actually, of I think the balance that someone has in a leadership position. So what I mean by that is, the higher you go in your organization, when your perspective just changes, like you're just at a different altitude of what you see, feel, and experience.
Right.
So one, to continue to be inclusive, if just because I'm not experiencing doesn't mean I shouldn't be learning about it, to be an advocate or to support or make changes or have empathy for whatever it is. But also sometimes we can have really good ideas sitting in the strategy space when that might not make any sense
Right.
at the front line
Hmm.
or the people doing the work. So I think especially with where we're headed, where I don't even know where top down sits anymore as we shift with everything that's going on, to just continue to remember that, because I think earlier in my career that's where you were at. You're like, where did this thing even come from? Like, what are we
Right.
doing? Or like, do you know what's going on down here? Um, and I think those are things that are important to keep in mind, because ultimately it's adds to the success of the organization. Like, there's a reason why at
Yeah.
that time in my career I was like, what are we doing? Because those were the things honestly that didn't do so
Makes
well.
sense. Yeah. Yeah.
And you need those voices. You need a holistic view to drive holistic change and impact in what we're doing. So
I
I think
like
those
that
would
you
be two
talked
things.
about
Yeah.
work being fun, but also something I've noticed about practitioners is not getting too far away from the work.
Yeah.
Like what that person you're hiring, what they actually do. Because it's really easy to read a job description or write a job description, but actually understanding what they do. And again, that's changing so fast now. A job description that you wrote in the summer is probably already outdated,
Yeah.
So I love that. The last question I have is where do you, if and when you ever do kind of get a little drained, because you're a high energy person, where do you get inspiration? Like where do you, there's got to be a source. There's got to be something, a hobby, whatever the bit is. It's got to be something that gets you kind of re-energized.
Yeah.
What is that?
Probably two big things. One, I love traveling with people, whether friends or meeting people while traveling, like just that connection, because there's always something to learn. So the new experience and taking that in. Also, I volunteer with adaptive sports. So
Oh yeah,
for
you took
about 20
yeah,
years, I've been coaching volleyball. In the past 5, it's really been focused on sitting volleyball, which is a Paralympic sport. In
right.
fact, I was just this last weekend in Oklahoma helping out. That's where the sitting sitting teams for USA Nationals men and women train is out in Edmond, Oklahoma. And for me, it's just a reminder of one, like the athletes are in pursuit of something. They're actually like on a life journey that they're trying to achieve. Also, we talked about sports and the ultimate performance, right? There's just a simplification of I'm here to do this objective. I'm going to do the best I can. I want to learn from that, and I want to get better, and I want to keep pursuing, pursuing, pursuing. And
Right.
there's an amazingness to that I just love the energy in the gym, and I know it's a space that is also like it's an honor to be there. So all those
Right.
things give me energy, but those would be the two things. You asked about inspiration and energy. I think was the balance. That's where those two things came from.
I
But
love it.
yeah,
You are amazing. Thank you for carving out time. Know that you're busy, but
yeah.
however, it has been a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you both so much. It was a pleasure to talk about weather and
See, we got it all in.
all the things. No, I do. I really
I had a
appreciate it.
list. I was going through a punch list of things that we have to kind of get in there. It's like keywords,
Yeah,
chocolate,
gotta get it
got it
all
in there.
in.
Yeah,
No, I appreciate. I think it's important to like have these reflections because there's always something to
yeah,
learn, right? And kind of digging in of both past but also present, and what's happening, and because I think we're all there. We're all like toggling between what was, what could be,
yep,
and to have the lessons from where you've been, but have inspiration for where you can go and take all of that in is what is learning and is what is life. So I love talking about this stuff and I appreciate it. I'm glad you offer this to people because that's how we also learn and know what's out there, right?
for the 20-year-olds and that are coming out of college now, ASU, they're coming out and they don't know what they're doing. They're actually listening to podcasts. It's the
Yeah.
craziest stuff in the world because those are some of, and especially with this show, those are the people that are listening. So
Yep.
people early in their career going, I don't know how to make it work, and they're listening to these people that have these amazing stories like yours, and they're like, oh, well, I could do that,
Yeah.
and it just kind of helps them figure that stuff out. So
Totally,
I
totally. And
think
I would say to those people also, like maybe this ties in of the younger self advice, which is like also share your ideas and thoughts and perspectives because not only is it just so important, period, we're about to like move into a whole different world of work and within the function, within all our roles, and you and that generation have ideas and things that we need to be thinking about and moving. So, um, it should be inspiration from both sides. I think it's
I
like all around the table.
I
So
think
bring,
we're at
bring
a phase. It reminds me of business school. For me, if someone came to a case study like a group that we'd have, and they say they have the answer, I'd automatically distrust them
Hmm.
because there is no such thing as the answer.
Yeah.
There's an answer, but there's not a the answer, and I think that's especially true today of
Hmm.
what we're dealing with. So anybody that pontificates and says this is the way, I'm automatically like, okay, you're just selling books or some other stuff,
Yeah.
whatever.
No,
But
none of us know.
none of us know, and that I think that's actually breeds a perfect thing to actually interact with your peers more, interact with vendors more, interact with a lot of people, consultants more, to where you kind of like, okay, maybe together we can all piece it together, for this 5 minutes, and then it'll change. But
100%. The thing I've been sharing or thinking about a lot is like curiosity, how we keep bringing curiosity to the table and learning out loud. Like, okay, I learned this new thing. What do you think? What did you take away? Like, oh, I'm like trying to figure this out. Like the whole ecosystem. If I were to add a third one, would be community because I think
yeah,
the wraparound of all those things fuel us and is something we're gonna need to be intentional about. But I'm just hooking into
100%.
your curiosity and learning out loud because we don't know. And I'm with you. They say that they know, and I'm like, I don't know. And that's what actually I think that's what gets us into trouble, perhaps. Like it's the unintentional things that we assume that we know that find out later that we wish we would have been curious.
Not only didn't know, but was way wrong. Like Pluto, way, way, way off the map. And again, you don't know that until that person has either developed a new idea or the organization has crushed that idea or they leave. And so, Ryan, you've got to
We're
close out the
done.
show for us. Please
We
do.
are done. Carly,
Done?
thank you
That's it?
so much. We're done. We're done talking, Carlee. Thank you for coming out. Seriously, it was a great conversation.
Very Philly. Just, yeah, done.
Peace.
Pew, pew.